This tip is actually called future orientation. So the idea behind this is that we, the more you can consider down the line, the better it helps you to actually live your everyday life. So there's a correlation between success and happiness, and the further down the line you can see your life, you can plan your goals. So on the flip side of that, you'll see that the least successful, least happy people are the people who ruminate on the past. So the idea is if you can think far enough down the line, you increase your chances of actually reaching those goals, having success and a purposeful life. I actually borrowed this from Brian Tracy. One of the things he would always say is that the top 10% of successful people in pretty much any field, what they all have in common is that they're all future oriented. So, what we're going to do is a quick exercise to show you exactly how to do this today. When we think about future, a lot of us are pretty unclear about what our goals are, or pretty unclear about how to reach those. So, we're going to use a tool called idealization. It's pretty straightforward, but what you want to do in idealization is to imagine a perfect scenario. Now, a lot of people are going to have a tough time with this because we're taught to imagine the worst case scenarios. But in this, you have no limitations. You can do this in different parts of your life. The part that probably most of us can ID with is the idea of career, business, things along those lines. Um, Imagine, let's say 5 years from now. You can do this for different time frames, but 5 years is a pretty good time because it allows our brains to really view it and realize and consider it a real thing. Consider 5 years from now, if you had the perfect career, what would it look like? Now, don't let yourself get caught up in the details of is this realistic or not. Consider in your ideal mind, in the ideal situation, the perfect situation, what would it look like? Where would you work? What kind of salary would you make? Um, what kind of work would you be doing? And the idea is to really go into that in as much detail as possible. Really discuss with yourself exactly what the perfect scenario would look like. Now, once you start to work on that in your brain, you want to jot this down. You want to write this down because this is going to allow your brain to build like a psychological mold of what this looks like. All right. Now, next step, super simple because it's only two steps. Once you have a picture in your mind of what this looks like, what you want to do next is to consider what would be one thing you have to do to get there. So when you think about this one thing, another super simple step, consider something you can do today. All right. You want to consider something you can do right now that'll lead you to that. So, for example, you may say, I'm a nurse right now, but my ideal job would be to be an accountant. Switching careers is tough. It's going to take time, that sort of thing. But the first thing you do, you wouldn't, you know that you may have to get some other schooling. You know that you can't just go enroll and start taking classes today, or at least in most cases you can. So maybe what you can do, the first thing you can do today is research. You can start to research what would you need in order to have a lucrative accounting degree, or lucrative accounting job, if that's what you're looking for. So the idea behind it is you want to take one thing that you can actually act upon today and do that. Now, it's going to take you a little bit of practice. It's going to take you some time because what we typically do is we live our day to day lives in patterns. So, whatever we were used to doing yesterday, our brains are going to naturally lead us to do today. This is going to help us to break the pattern. So, it'll take you a little bit of time. You can do this though. Now, what I would suggest, if you need help, there are plenty of resources. You can go right to my website at bethinklive.com. That's BETHINKLIVE.com. You can reach out to me and I'll be happy to provide you with resources, as well as mentoring and accountability so that you can actually start to build a plan to actually reach your ideal future. All right. Thanks so much. You guys have a great day.